Good morning, friends. Coming to you live with the Yours in Writing show. So, for those who have joined my first couple of episodes, this is a new live, unedited podcast that's coming to you several times a week, and it's not going to be every week. So, for instance, don't expect to be seeing me if it's a holiday. I'm trying to teach us all to have more balanced writing careers, and that is part of being yours in writing. So I'm coming to you today with a writing business lesson. If you are interested in any of the slideshows that we have, these shows are all going to be only about 15 minutes long. So far, I've really kept to that. And now I'm only on episode 3. So let's hope we can keep it up. But I am Red. I go by Red. I write under the names Jerry Shepard, Reggie LaBerge, and Maggie McMahon. And I've been over 30 years in some way, shape, or form in the writing and publishing industry. And I have had the sign off, Yours in Writing, for quite some time and really wanted to make that real. I wanted to become somebody who you can look at in the writing community. And I want to be in your community and I want you in mine. If you are interested in any of the slideshows that we have, feel free to sign up for my website newsletter. You can see it down there below in the ticker that will be running throughout the video. We have just gotten started. Something that you can always count on is I will always teach in the power of 3, the good old rule of 3, because that is how we either biologically or divinely, depending on your beliefs, learn as human beings, is in the power of 3, in the rule of 3. And I will usually have something that I'm teaching with a little bit of alliteration. It helps it stick. And so far this week, we had, if you are interested in the earlier slideshow from this at the beginning of this week, you can get that writing craft lesson. It was To It, Through It, and Do It. And you are able to, it was a lesson on all of the different types of writer's block and how you can get through them. Today we are on Push, Pivot, or Purge. That is this week's business lesson. And coming up this week, we also have our Refine, Record, and Release lesson, which I'm going to tell you what that one's about when you actually join me, because I don't want to scare you away just yet. So today, Push, Pivot, and Purge. This is a business evaluation tool that you can do on your business. This is really all about figuring out what works in your business and therefore what you need to keep doing. This goes beyond the Skill and Joy Index. So this is something that you're going to do as a routine assessment. You can do this quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. Honestly, I even think quarterly is a little bit too much, and I certainly wouldn't recommend monthly, because our businesses, they tend to run in like 90-day cycles or 180-day cycles. Sometimes that annual just doesn't really work. You need to tweak before you get to a next year. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do annual planning. You absolutely should. But sometimes waiting a year in between doing an assessment when you need to push, pivot, or purge is too long, and it might be too late to help your business. So you need to take a critical look at your business. This goes beyond our Skill Joy Index. If you're not familiar with the Skill Joy Index, workingwritersmastermind.com will talk to you about that a little bit. Or go ahead, when you sign up for that newsletter, let me know in the comments that you're interested in knowing about that, and I'll happily share a little video with you on that. But basically, it's about doing the things that you have skills in and you have joy in order to monetize them as part of your writing business. But this goes beyond that. This is actually looking at what are the results of the things that you have chosen to be in your working writing model. Are they actually working? Yes, you can still value things based on whether or not you enjoy them. That's actually one of the things. That's the fulfillment piece of success. But what other things are they providing for you in your business? How are they working for you? Is it bringing you critical success, commercial success, or financial success as well? So quick assessment is, first, look into what do you need to push into. These are the things you need to do more of. So figure out what is fully working in your business. It fits into your systems, it provides personal fulfillment, and it is creating some success for you. So, if you want to push into something, first, think about that. Make that list in your head. This is what's working. I'll tell you something that was working for me, the publishing. It's something that I have set aside many times, but I always come back to it because I enjoy it. So I'm getting that fulfillment aspect. There's joy in helping people put their stories out in the world. I love that about publishing. Um, it brings in some financial success for me. Not a lot if I'm doing like one book, but if it's a part of my model where I'm doing many books, it can be something that can bring in some financial success for me. And it's commercial success in terms of building my audience because there's, especially when I'm running anthologies, there's more opportunities for getting a name out there. So that is something that I'm like, okay, hey, this works. So let me think about how can I energize this thing that's already working? Because these are the ways I'm going to push into something. I'm going to push into it by energizing it and by expanding it. So I can energize it by taking those already successful publications and I can create ads and highlights of them. So that's one way I can do it. Now let's go on to a way that doesn't cost me anything. Let's do a social spotlight. So maybe I'm just going to be running for no reason whatsoever, not because it's a sale, not because it's a new release or a relaunch, but I'm just going to say, hey, y'all, do you know that this book is out here? This is no different than when people have a whole series and they're telling you about that first book in the series. So can I socially spotlight this work that is already succeeding, or the availability of this work that is already succeeding? And then I'm going to celebrate. And the celebrating is because we want to remind people when something is successful because people tend to glom onto those things that are successful. How do I expand it? Well, now maybe I want to look for more opportunities to do publishing. Well, I'm going to look for those testimonials from people who have taken me as their publisher, or for the products that are out there, I might be looking for the reviews. I might be looking for recommendations. So if I'm working with a convention and I'm managing an anthology for them, I might say, hey, would you be willing to let me use your name when I'm talking to this other convention about this possibility as well? And I'm going to be making proposals, that's going to take some administrative work, but that's a way I'm going to push into that. And then I'm going to look at how can I take the things that are already existing and how can I maximize them? So what are the next steps? Can I adapt them? Can I create appearances around them, courses around them, distribution around them? So for you, what are those things that you need to push into in your business? How can you energize them and how can you expand them? Because that's how you push into them. So this is going to be a different thing for everybody because your business model isn't going to be the same as mine. I was just using publishing as an example. The next thing we need to do, though, is pivot. Now, is there something that is working in at least one area of success, one front, but it's really not working with others? Maybe you love it. Oh, it makes you feel so good, but you haven't made a penny on it, or even worse, you've lost money on it. We've all been there. We're artists. Don't pretend you haven't. Maybe it does bring you cash flow, but there's no joy in it. You guys, I had to edit a textbook once, and I mean, that is cash flow, but no joy. That was literally the definition of that for me. What is it that you're doing that brings you so much misery, but it's bringing in cash flow? How can you work with that? What is viable? So maybe you're like, maybe it's almost something that's in that push area even. It's viable, it's working, but it's just stagnant. It needs a growth path. Like, do you need to genre jump? I know people have different opinions about genre jumping. We'll save that for an industry topic another day. But maybe you're just feeling stuck, even though this thing is kind of working. And they say, if you're not growing, you're dying. So therefore, if something is just viable, but it has no growth path, eventually it's going to end up in our third category of purge, which we'll talk about shortly. So what are those areas in your business model that on which you need to pivot? So first, I want to look over here on the right side. Well, it's my right side of my screen. For you guys, I think, yeah, it should still be the right side. I don't know. Let's talk about the different kinds of success. So, there are four basic successes that I'm addressing when I'm talking about whether or not you are achieving success within your writing business model. Is it a critical success? In other words, this is something that's going to build your resume or your reputation. So a lot of work for hire tasks, they are really great critical successes, because they're things that you're. By the way, you're always building your craft. If anybody says otherwise, they're just wrong. Like everything that you're doing as a writer, if you are, bit chalk, as we say, butt in chair, hands on keys. If you are writing, you are building your craft. So that is a success that I didn't even list over here. It's your growth as a writer. But look beyond that. What are the other successes that you're going to have? Is it building your resume or reputation? That's going to be critical. If it's building your platform from which you can create, or it's building your audience, that's going to be your commercial success. Y'all know what financial success is. Bottom line, that's it. Don't mix this one up with other things. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have a viable business, we can't keep going. It's okay to have financial success. And then fulfillment. Is it building your passion and keeping you engaged with the work? So those are the four kinds of success. So think about what is working. If you're having to pivot something, what aspect of it is working? Maybe it's reaching your market in a very good way. So you're building out your newsletter list, you're building out your audience, you're building your fanship. That's awesome. Maybe your process, you've got it down. You're like, whoo, I can do this. I'm whipping this out. It's happening, no problem. It fits into my schedule. It's awesome. And maybe it's the results that are working. Like I said, you might have something that's bringing in a cash flow or it's already viable, but it's not working in other ways. Like it's not working in some of those other ways, which we're going to talk about in the replace what's broken. So is your investment proportionate to the results? Like, am I spending 8 hours on a project that is earning me ultimately, you know, very little money? If I'm spending a whole day working on it, and that day could have spent in something that's earning me more money, or earning me a consistent revenue train beneath. So, is my investment of money, is my investment of time, is my investment of energy, is my investment of creativity proportionate to the results that I am receiving from that? If not, then what needs to be fixed is I need to adjust that. I need to say, okay, how can I do this in less time? How can I make this use this to pivot this to make more money so that it actually is proportionate? Can you eliminate or outsource the broken aspects? Oh my gosh. So I do a lot of design as well. And I do a lot of book layout and design, and these are wonderful tasks. I enjoy them. They are very fulfilling to me, and it's money that I'm not having to pay out. However, I don't maybe need that super, super in-depth design on every single book. Or if it's a flyer, is that something that I could have somebody else making? Can I outsource some of that design work that isn't necessary to my work, that I'm able to take it off of my plate? Now that's outsourcing, and that's not necessarily broken, but it's maybe broken in the way that I'm putting in too much time on it because I'm not a designer by trade. I can do design, but I'm a writer by trade. So it's probably broken in such a way that it doesn't have proportionate results. So maybe I need to outsource that. Am I lacking in a skill that I can obtain? This is a really good one because sometimes you can do things better. You can do things quicker. Maybe you need to take a course. Maybe you need to sit down with somebody. Maybe you need to have a coach. There are different things that you can do. Think about where is it working, and maybe it just needs a little tweak. That's the pivot. Sometimes that tweak, by the way, it's not about what you're doing, it's about where you're putting the product. Like maybe you have a really great course and you've been pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and it's just not going anywhere. And you need to pivot to a different market because maybe your market is not one of the areas that's working. Maybe it's you have really great sales and you've got a great partnerships with somebody, but they want more of your product and you don't have it for them. So maybe you need to pivot to fit that in so that you're maximizing that partnership. So pivoting is taking something that is working, but maybe just needs a little extra so that it can work even better for you in order to achieve a critical commercial, financial, or fulfillment success for you. Purging. Oh, we all hate to kill our darlings, don't we? I know I do. I definitely hate to kill our darlings. So I'm just checking our time right now. We are at 15. So I'm going to whip through this one because I said I wanted to always try to keep us close to 15 minutes. You need to be honest about what's not working. What is draining your financial resources, draining your time resources, or draining your emotional resources? So if first you got to be truthful with yourself. Are you running your business as a business or as a hobby? Guess what? If it's a hobby, that's okay. But you need to be honest about that. Is this something that you want? Like maybe, oh, I really, really want to write this story, or that your market needs. Oh, they really, really want me to write this story. Those are two different things. And if I'm only leaning on the things that I just want to do that aren't building my business, as opposed to having a balance where maybe I can sometimes have the passion project, but I have a revenue engine, you know? So is this something you want or your market needs? And will anybody suffer from you letting this go? Sometimes we think that the world is going to collapse when something that we believe in isn't working or didn't reach people. That's usually not the case. So be truthful. Be truthful with yourself above all else. And then be tenacious. Can you transform something that is not working into something new? Hey, this was supposed to be for adults, but maybe I can make this for young adults. Hey, this was a course I was directing at schools. Maybe I need to direct it at authors. What is that piece of your model that you need to, can you transform it? Can you transition it to somebody new? I've experienced a lot of this year. Red Rose Works became a thing when our Red Writes Books partnered with TR Nickel, and together we became Red Rose Works. And there are initially when we started working together, my model and her model were completely different. We just talked about this together last night because when you have a partner, you talk regularly. As she began working with me, she basically took on my whole model. So it was perfect timing because I actually have like grandkids now that I want to be there for, and I've got a home to take care of, and so really I was like, you know what? It's okay for some of this stuff to transition to you because I'm building these other things that I can do differently in my business. So my model became her model, and my model had to change because we, as a business, transitioned a lot of the things I was doing to her. But we still work together. So there's a great, it works out well for both of us. Can you take on something new after you let it go? There are some things that don't work in your business and you need to purge them. So my all this month we're going to be bringing you some more yours in writing. I've gone over time, which I never want to do, so I apologize for that. All month long, my podcast, My Yours in Writing, is sponsored through the end of 2025 by the At Fault audiobook. You can get it beginning this Friday, September 19th, at soundbooththeater.com. The amazing people who brought you Dungeon Crawler Carl, that made all of you fall in love with Lit RPG. So check it out. Also, if you want this set of slides or the other slides from this week, go ahead, sign up for my newsletter at redwritesbooks.com. And from now through the end of the year, you're going to get a free ebook of the first book, At Fault, when you sign up for the newsletter, because I'm going to be telling you all about that audiobook. So thank you so much for being with us. I apologize that I did already. I said I knew I was going to end up going over, but we're less than 20 minutes. So hopefully with 20 minutes, you guys still were able to get this in quickly on your commute to work. I hope you have a great day. And as always, as I always say,